and welcome back to Star Wars Between a Rock and a Hard Place, where the last episode, our intrepid heroes, Glalt, Haysh, and Tindrick found themselves on a remnant of the planet of Alderaan, an asteroid where a bit of the old Jedi Temple was still intact, and there had been a force field set up to actually an atmosphere, as if maybe someone had been mining or scavenging or salvaging on this place. As they landed, they met a mysterious figure who called himself Tyrion, who happened to be flying in an older style Sith infiltrator ship. As they entered the vaulted chambers of the Jedi Temple and made their way to the old library, they encountered a group rummaging through the stacks, as it were. The group noticed them. They noticed this group. Someone lit a lightsaber and someone lunged, and that is where we were left, wondering what was going to be the next thing. So what I'm going to do at this point to start this thing up completely is I want which of the three of you has the highest perception score?
I've only got 2 die.
Anyone have more than 2?
2D plus 2.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
And does Glalt have a higher perception than that? You have 4 perception.
4.
All right. So Glalt, in that case, you will roll your 4 dice and tell me what your total is. Remember
4
that,
plus wild, right?
Yes. No, that's the wild die is one of the 4.
Understood.
So,
Oh, okay, yep.
$14.
all right. So you guys will be doing your actions on 14. Glalt will go first, then Tindrick, then Haysh, because of your perception scores, basically. And the enemy also made their roll. And what you see is Haysh begin to lunge forward with his lightsaber lit. But the other group, as the light fell upon them, you see 4 humans dressed in oddly uniform-like clothing, but no visible markings of any kind, and a large bipedal feline figure that, if anything, maybe hulks a bit larger than Glalt. Its eyes reflect back the light of Haysh's lightsaber in a flash, and you see the flash of fangs from the maw of this thing as it lunges forward and actually acts first.
Nice.
So as Glalt begins the lunge, this thing's lightning reflexes causes it to basically start bounding towards you on all 4s. Its upper torso, covered in fur and nothing else, shows the well-defined muscles underneath. As it gets within range of Glalt, it makes a massive leap. And actually launches itself to the top of the stack some 15 feet above your heads. And then it launches itself past you, over your heads. You notice as it's going by that it has a satchel of some kind slung over its shoulders, basically hanging from about where its hip would be. And the other 4 turn as this thing does this and draw blasters and begin firing. Now, those of you who happen to have lightsaber combat, you can at this time roll your force dice, which I believe lightsaber combat is sense and is control and sense, right? So you roll a control die and you roll your sense dice. So, and Tindrick, if you want to activate your force power as well, you guys can activate your force powers before it's your actual turn.
Give me a second to add all this up.
So the 4 that we're encroaching on are firing at the one that left over everyone's head?
Oh no, they see you firing at you. And to activate your force powers, you're going to want at least a 6.
I have for lightsaber combat, I have a total of 7 dice.
Oh, no, this is for your, this is your force dice that you're rolling.
You said
Not
force
the
and
actual skill.
sense.
Yeah, so you need to roll each of them separate.
Okay,
So you
Yeah.
need to roll your sense, and I believe it's sense and control, right?
sense and control, yeah.
So
It's
you
a
roll
total
your-
of 7 dice.
But you roll your sense, and then you roll your control separately.
Understood. I'm gonna type it in chat because it's gonna be a
That's
pretty
fine.
large number coming
As I
in.
said, so it's not one number, it's 2 numbers. So, okay. And so if you have like your control, like say in Tinder's case, you could actually roll that. And I know you have the concentration ability. You could choose that at this time to do that and then apply the +4 die to a skill roll for the next round. So basically it's a sort of like you guys snapping into concentration. So.
14 on a
Alright.
control check to activate
Okay.
concentration.
All right, so your concentration is definitely activated. All right,
So I add a +4.
yeah,
Just
plus
flat
four,
+4. Okay.
+4 dice
Oh,
to
+4
one
dice.
to one skill or stat for this round.
Yeah.
So you have to
I-
choose. You have to choose at the beginning of the round what you want to add it to.
I rolled them separately. My control was
Okay.
25 and my sense was
All
15.
right, so your lightsaber combat is active. Okay, and Haste, you don't have lightsaber combat yet, do you? But
I'm a swordsman, not
Okay.
a blaster deflector.
okay,
That's
You-
something
you-
we
you
were
could-
working on with his
Oh, yeah,
character
no,
point.
that-
We
oh,
weren't
yeah,
there
yeah.
yet.
you can still do something like concentration or something like that if you wanted to activate to give you
Mm,
+4 dice to something. Okay.
11 die for lightsaber combat for after
Yeah.
concentration.
You
Yeah,
could, yeah.
baby. That is sense or
It's under control.
control. So that is that is a 14.
Okay, yeah, so you're able to activate that and add 4 dice just to an action when it comes down to it. So
Okay.
they said these guys though are, as you guys are activating that, firing their blasters at you. Since Glalt is in the front, they're going to have the 2 of them are going to be firing at you, and one of each is going to be firing at the other 2. So, all right. So at this point, you can either use your lightsaber combat skill to do a deflection if you wish, or you can do a dodge. So that's pretty much your choice.
Can I deflect them into the being that just leapt?
If you roll high enough, yes.
I would like to do that.
So okay. All right. So make me your lightsaber combat roll.
Again,
No, the actual dice that you would use for lightsaber combat.
okay.
So like your lightsaber dice.
All right. So do I add anything to that for what I just got?
I believe you get 2 additional dice for lightsaber combat, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So that's 6 total. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24.
All right. So the way that works is you have to be able to deflect it at something specific, you have to beat it by 10. His blaster shot was a 14. So you get exactly at 10. So you can deflect it up. So you can deflect over at him, but basically it's at a 10. So he does get a chance to dodge it. Because oh yeah, unfortunately he's gonna be able to dodge it. He's able to see he's able to notice what's happening, and he ducks behind the stack, and the blaster bolt hits the stack. The second one fires at you. And you can do the same thing again, try to deflect it again.
All right. I'm actually going to dodge this time and attempt to dodge towards the stack.
All right, so do me a dodge check then.
Ooh, not my best skill here.
You got it, man.
I hope. I don't have dodge. What do I roll?
That case you will in that case you will roll your dexterity. Your dexterity dice.
I'm good at that. I'm okay at dex.
Yeah.
11.
All right, you are able to barely dodge out of the way as this blast remote was roaring past you and actually singes a bit of your fur and impacts into the stacks behind you. Heish, I'll do you next. That's
Oh,
what's
I
coming
hope
at
you
you,
won't
sir.
do me.
All not long, baby.
Oh
What we do
no!
off recording is none of my concern. I'm just saying.
And since you don't have the force skill lightsaber combat,
I do
do you
not.
choose to dodge?
He's Heish is out for blood. He's pretty committed. So I might, if going by my character's current emotional state, these space pirates are desecrating his sacred grove now. He's gonna dodge, and he's not gonna dodge very well because his state of mind is I'm out for
It's
blood.
okay.
So what
He's
do I
still-
roll?
you roll either dodge or dexterity, whichever you happen to have.
Shit. I only have dexterity here.
Okay. So you roll dexterity dice.
And oh shit, actually. That is 16 after bonuses.
All right.
there.
Your emotion, of course, comes to the surface, and this thing goes to fire, and you sort of, sort of twist your body out of the way instinctively, and it goes right past you in front of you, just barely missing you.
I'll do you one better, Revenge of the Fifth, and say it'll actually cut off just maybe like a few inches of Heish's queue. It'll
Okay.
singe off the end of his
Singe off
ponytail,
the end of the ponytail. Yeah. Okay.
not the fucking hair.
And Tendra, when it's firing, you choose, sir.
Okay.
So, are you going to attempt to dodge?
Yeah, I'll attempt to dodge. God, it exploded twice.
That's good.
That's 23.
All right. So he actually had a 15 for his attack. So you're able to get out of the way pretty easily. It may be because of the fact that he saw Galt deflect a shot up towards the other figure. It may have been because then Galt just sort of leaned out of the way. Heish just sort of leaned out of the way and such. And this guy may have been confused, but his shot definitely wide of you. So, and since Galt has the highest perception, what are you going to do this time? Well,
Glolt, realizing this situation is foobarred beyond belief, he activates his lightsaber.
I thought it
And
was already
this is-
activated.
Huh?
He was already activated, wasn't it?
Deactivate.
Oh, deactivate. Okay.
Interesting movement here.
Okay.
Deactivates because this is movement. I'm not actually,
Okay.
so I'm using my action points into movement points. Deactivates it and chunks it to Tindrick, yelling, "Catch!" and charges after the giant tiger with a bestial roar.
So are you going to try to jump up to the top of the stacks and climb
You
them?
said he went behind the stack.
He went up on the stack and then like sort of went around the other side of it. So
He's going to use all the power he's got with concentration
Mhm.
and force
Uh-huh.
to empower himself to just burst run around that
Okay.
stack and charge after this thing.
all right,
We're
in
playing
that
cat and
case,
mouse now.
that is going to be a strength check, and remember to add your 4 dice since you're doing constant. Or actually, are you using concentration? Or you use lightsaber combat this round?
I'm using force points for this.
Oh, you're going to spend force points. In that case, you double your dice. A force point. So yeah, you can only use one at a time. All right, so you roll double your dice,
For strength to go after this thing.
and that's
Yeah.
literally a burst of a run.
May I ask, while we have a moment,
Mhm.
where's Tiernan?
When it comes to your turn, I'll let you do a perception check real quick and see if you can see where he's at.
All right.
That's
Is
10.
it just a dex check to catch things, or is there
Yeah.
actually a skill for it?
It's dexterity, so it's just a basic dex, and all you got to do is roll a basic 6. So, okay, yeah. All right, so Galalt takes off in a tear, covering ground like a marathon runner. That goes down then to Tindrick, who just caught a lightsaber. What are you doing, sir?
Well, he was going to open fire, but he just got this lightsaber chucked at him.
Well, you probably just open fire one-handed. So,
Right? It was more the fact of he was getting ready to do it, and it's like, oh,
yeah, it's like crap. Yeah, remember, this is Star Wars, so cool stuff like that happens all the time.
right. Now, okay. I can activate another person's lightsaber, correct?
Yes, you know how to do it. It's just a mechanical button.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I guess in a somewhat showy fashion, he will grab the lightsaber, reactivate it while he takes a pot shot with his blaster.
okay, all right. That doesn't take a roll to activate it. And as I said, the catch it just takes because it was turned off. It's just a 6. So you don't do your dexterity check to make sure you actually catch it.
If I can't get a 6 off of 3 dice, we have an issue anyway.
And it happens.
Ooh.
10.
Okay, yeah. So you catch it, and the blade happens to be in the angle the right way. So you push the button, it actually goes up and not down.
Light side goes that way.
Which, if you're doing this way, would be a bad thing.
Right.
So you catch it and activate it, and make your blaster shot. And you still have your concentration dice to use at some point if you'd like.
Yeah. What is in front of me right now?
You see 4 human figures in very similar clothing. They seem to have been rummaging through the stacks. There's actually packs of data crystal or stacks of data crystals and stuff like that at their feet. And there's pouches that you see data crystals in, as if they're looking for very specific stuff.
Do any of them look like they're higher ranked than the others, or they all just kind of look like they're the same?
They look very uniform, almost as if almost as if it's intentional that they don't want you to know one from another.
Okay.
You might even say professional mercenaries.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do we have called shots in this system?
Not per se, but I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll let you do a called shot at a -2 dice.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to use my concentration anyway, so.
Okay, there you go. So you just add 2 dice.
Yep. Yeah, I guess just the one that would be closest to me,
Okay.
distance-wise. I'm actually just going to try to take him right in the shoulder joint.
Okay. So you're trying to disable the guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Tindrick is not as bloodthirsty as his brother is and doesn't quite want to kill yet.
Okay.
$15, $30, $37.
All right. You scored enough to do that. And your blaster bolt hits the mark, hits him square in the shoulder. I'm assuming it's the shoulder that's holding the blaster, right?
Yes.
So the blast takes him squarely in that shoulder. His hand spasms to cause him to drop the blaster as he calls out, and the blast actually spins him to the ground. And he is apparently that knocked him out. Hey, you're up.
Haish is as Haish is actually closing into the melee as we speak.
Okay.
He is basically going to be a dervish of green light, and he's gonna cut down as many people as he possibly can.
All right.
I used my concentration I think my previous round, is that still active?
Yeah, that was you activate it for this round. Yes.
Okay, for this round. Okay,
Yeah.
and so I have.
Now we had discussed at one point, and I'll go ahead and expand it out a little bit. That the way we'll do 2-weapon fighting is you divide your dice for that combat style. So say
Okay.
if you're using lightsaber, if you're using 2 lightsabers, you would devote half to one, half to the other. I will also allow
For
you
me,
to
it'd be
make
3 and 3.
so that I will also allow you to do that for 1 weapon for 2 attacks. So you can actually divide your combat into 2 targets and split it.
Shit.
Now you tell me.
So
Ooh. These guys might go down this round.
Well,
Well,
pot shot 2 of them.
right. Let's try. I'm gonna use my
sorry,
one
Kendra.
dice on the first.
okay,
So that's 2, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna do 6 die on the first one, and the rest. I'm adding the 4 dice from my concentration, and that's why I've got
Okay.
goddamn many.
that's fine. So
Oh my god, that's mean. 5, 10, 15, 20, 26, 32.
okay,
And that's 32 on the first attack.
all right, okay. You see his eyes go big. He's apparently wasn't expecting you to charge him with a lightsaber.
Yep.
And you see the fear in his eyes as you cut him down. So basically his dodge was 3.
Nice.
So he is dead.
I am going to very acrobatically kind of like vault over him and kind of like carry that inertia into the next guy.
Okay.
And I mean, it looks goddamn pretty. Probably
Yeah.
scary, but
That's Star Wars is all about.
that is a 19 for the second one.
Okay. That one, he actually seeing his friend cut down, he actually reacts a little better.
Ooh.
And you didn't flat out kill him. But tell me how you injure this guy.
Can I lop off his arm?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna lop off his blaster arm, and can I just for some
Skywalker
added
picking
flair,
this
can I give him like a palm strike and knock him down?
Yeah, you can say true momentum could actually carry you forward into it. And that happened to be like the end of your movement. And you actually hit him in the chest as your lightsaber comes down.
That'll be like the gymnastics stick it, wham in the chest.
Yeah, his eyes get big as he looks down at his stump and falls backwards. So, okay, now back to the top. So, 1, 2, 3. This one. So he is going to do that. All right. Okay. The feline figure has done something. The last guy who's standing there, who just saw 2 of his friends get cut down, and one of them taken into the shoulder and knocked down, drops his blaster and holds his hands up. He says, "Oh no!" And she's like right there next to you. He holds his hands up, and he has a fear in his eyes. He's also fairly young. He looks like maybe he's 18, maybe 19. Nice young, fresh face. Like maybe he's been shaving for a couple of days.
Oh, nice.
So that his action is literally to give up. So, Vault, you run around the edge of the stacks and make a perception.
Joy. Come on, Dice. You've been doing well. Don't screw up now.
Come on, Glove, get him. Get him.
Yes. I love you, pretty die.
Yes.
22.
All right.
That dice
So-
exploded twice.
So you come around the corner, and this stack, the other stack, they had like lamps that were like they had brought in, so you had a little light in there. This stack does not have any light at all, hardly. But in the shadows, you do see a figure move slightly. It's up on like It's not on the top of the stack, but it's like hanging from the side, almost as if it's like trying to hide there. So what do you do when you see it?
This thing has hurt my friends, has attempted to hurt my friends.
Did it?
It did. It would have if I hadn't stopped it, if I hadn't chased it. Its people were trying to.
Well, that's true.
We need information. Glalt is angry. He's been angry.
Okay.
And he's going to do something that he knows is against the code.
Okay. What's that?
Use telekinesis to try to grab it and just slam it to the floor.
Do be your, that would be, that's alter, right?
Alter.
Do roll your alter dice. This versus his strength. Okay. What do you got?
So the other doesn't explode, right?
Only
Just-
one die, only the wild die explodes.
Good. Because it was boxcars, but only one explodes.
Yes.
6 and 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
All right. You grab onto it with the force and go to pull. And this thing latches itself into the stack and actually resists your pull. He rolled a 22 on his strength. So you have a grip on him and you hear it growl at you.
I have a grip on him.
Mhm.
Squeeze.
Okay. That will have to go next round. So all right, next, Tendrick. You see this guy throw his hands up in front of Hage. So what do you do?
Haish, brother of mine,
Yes, dear brother.
can I trust that you will subdue him since he has given up?
Without looking at Tindrick, I'll just growl at the kid. Get on the floor.
Okay, he does.
Tie him up. Tie up the other one. I'm going to go help Glalt. And with that, Tindrick is actually going to go run after where they disappeared to last.
If you need anything, holler,
Oh, I will.
Okay.
and I
All
will
right.
busy myself doing that.
Back to the top. Beat that. Okay. This thing lets out a roar of, and you guys hear this roar, a roar of anger, and hurls a container full of data crystals at Glalt. So you have a choice, Glalt. You either maintain your telekinetic hold on him or you can dodge. I can't hear you.
You're muted.
Maintain.
All right. So in that case, you need to roll strength to resist the damage.
Not a problem. Come on, dice. Be nice, be nice, be nice. Strength is one of my better stats, thankfully.
Okay.
No explosions, but not bad.
Okay.
14.
All right. This box comes down and strikes you on the side of the head with a total of an 18, which is going to leave you stunned, which means you lose your concentration, unfortunately, and you lose your hold telekinetically. As that happens, this thing lunges not at you, but across the aisle toward the other stack.
Okay.
Almost as if he threw that specifically to make you lose concentration.
Noted.
And he makes that jump easily. So as Tendrick, as you are stunned, you do have an action, but you're at -1 die to whatever you do.
Not noted. Important question here.
Mhm.
This creature,
Uh-huh.
it's feline, right?
Yes.
Jumping, even though it's in a feline's repertoire, would cause a feeling of pain over time.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Gold is going to do something that he's going to regret this later. He's going to you said he jumped across the stacks,
Yeah,
right?
he jumped across the aisle that he's on the ground because that makes him stack to the other stack at the cross, almost as if he's trying to maintain the high ground.
Is he still visible?
Barely. It is dark and shadowy up there. The shadows are cast fairly thickly from the only illumination being being Haitia's lightsaber and Tindrick's, and your lightsaber coming with Tindrick, which is apparently on the next aisle coming down. So the light's a little weird here.
Data crystals, are they actual crystals?
Yes, they're light blue colored actually, and they are refracting that light, and that's why it makes the light here odd. The shadows dance, so it's sort of hard to see them.
Gwalt is going to yell for Haish to cut it off in whatever way he sees fit.
Mhm.
And these stacks are pretty strong, but
They are, yeah.
have you ever seen an angry whippet charge a stack?
Go for it.
We are going to now.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we're about to.
You're gonna try to put your shoulder into the stack and try to knock it over.
Yeah,
Okay,
with rolling. Yeah.
yeah, you do it.
$30.
All right, so you put your shoulder to the stack and you strain, and for a moment you don't think this thing's going to go over, and finally your strength starts overcoming that inertia, and that thing starts to lean, and as it starts to lean, it picks up speed. What you see is that stack lean over into the next stack, which starts to go down. So he needs to do a dodge. So, all right. You hear a yelp as of something as this thing tries to get out of the way, but I'm using your 30 as your attack basically. And he tumbles down and actually loses his balance. So, and you hear him go down with the stacks as these stacks go down one after another after another. So you guys hear this commotion too. So Tindrick, on that note, it's not coming towards you; it's going away from you guys. So what do you do as you run down the aisle?
Well, that's what I was asking. What does it take to activate concentration again?
You just have to roll your control dice.
Okay. Does that take
And
up?
roll a 6 or higher.
Does that take up the entire round, or can I do that?
No, you can do this. It's basically it's an instinctual thing that you do. It's like you activate a power, and then you can use the power.
Okay. Is that thing within line of sight?
Not currently, no.
Damn it.
So
Okay. So what I wanted to do was activate concentration, 'cause I know it's getting in the way. I was going to try to pot shot it in the leg to disable it, like I did the other guy.
now you might be able to get a view on it if you run around the end of the stack over where Glault is, maybe. So, but that light over there the light's getting even more weird now because there's crystals flying in the freaking air.
Right.
Just for the sake of the scene, as Glault has kind of called out my name,
Yeah.
and he'll be kneeling.
Mhm.
Finish with he'll stand and he'll actually hold his lightsaber up like it's a glow stick and see about if we can get that light to actually go farther.
Okay.
As that is happening, if I can give somebody
Yeah.
else a bonus to actually see on their perception, I
Yeah.
will do so.
You'll remove the negative. So, all right. So Tindrick, you're gonna
Have
look.
at him.
11 on the force check to get concentration going.
It's going.
And yeah, I was running toward Glault's location,
Okay.
probably seeing these stacks falling in the meantime.
Oh yeah.
And then yeah, if I have If I have line of sight to the creature, then yeah, I'm going to use my concentration to try to take that pot shot.
I have cheese.
Cheese.
Cinco de Mayo.
Hell yeah.
Okay, thank you, honey. So yeah, do the perception check and we'll see if you can see them. I won't give you the negative this turn because Paige at that moment is raising his lightsaber to give it a light.
I think it would only be instinctual for him.
Just straight perception.
Yeah, perception.
22.
All right, you do see this tawny figure up on one of the stacks as it starts to fall over. So you take a shot at it if you want.
So use my concentration. Called shot to make 2. $25, 33.
You hit him. You still shooting the leg?
Yeah, I was going to shoot him if he's right. I'm assuming he's facing away from me, right?
Yeah.
Then I was going to basically try to get him like the kneecap, Achilles tendon type of area.
All right.
Something that,
Back of the knee.
yeah, it's usually something that if you get hit there, you're not moving afterwards.
Yeah. Your blaster bolt reaches out and impacts in the side of his knee. The almost frustrated yelp roar that you're hearing turns into a definite yelp of pain as this thing tumbles down and actually falls out of sight behind the stacks as they collapse.
Well, do you want your lightsaber back?
Not right now. He might want to hold on to it for a little bit.
At this point, Tindrick will still have it to his side. He'll probably have it up just light purposes, but
So
Tindrick will start doing the Terminator walk.
So as you're doing the Terminator walk there, you actually hear the sounds of these crystals hitting the floor all around you. They're facets reflecting the lightsaber blade up in a dazzling, almost disco ball type effect around you and Glault. On the other stack across, you have Hayes holding his lightsaber up over these two figures, one tied, I guess you're probably at this point both tied up.
I have, just for cinematic purposes, probably mercilessly stomped the kid in the face to knock him out because
Okay.
I don't have enough rope for 2 people.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
Okay. So the other one is definitely the trauma of getting shot in his shoulder has knocked him completely out.
Good.
Matter of fact, with the precision of that shot, it actually right completely through his shoulder.
Good.
So that arm's probably not going to be useful anymore.
Good.
So
And that's my dear brother there.
so as you knock him out, are you going to do anything else?
I am going to. Well, Hayes doesn't have eyes, but I'm gonna keep an eye on my companions' activities. But I'm gonna be rifling through their things,
Okay.
and if there were any data crystals in their possession, I'm going to try and put them back where they should be.
Yeah. Well, they have a couple of bags that are basically like shoulder bags that they have some data crystals in, and there are other data crystals on the floor around them.
I'm gonna
as if they're being told these are the good ones, these we don't need.
Well, Hayes shall pick up what probably he would assume at quick glance. Don't have eyes.
Right.
We put him in one of his belt pouches just for safekeeping, next to the other data core that he took off the old guy, and he probably will police what weapons they have. I'm just going to generally ransack the place. I don't want to bring this scene to an ass grinding halt. So
that's fine.
that's what
So
I'm doing in my time.
You collect their blasters, which are pretty much run-of-the-mill blaster pistols.
Good.
Nothing special about them. They're almost intentionally normal.
Plain.
Yeah.
No, a weapon is a weapon. That's fine.
The clothing they're wearing is well-made utilitarian clothing, dark jumpsuits, basically. No identifying marks on them, no names, no patches or anything like that. One thing you do notice is that their haircuts are very precise and very uniform.
As I'm kind of doing the blind man thing,
Yeah.
my fingers kind of go
Yeah.
through
Yeah,
their hair a little bit. And I'm like, what the?
their hair all seems to be a uniform length, as if they were cut by the same person to a very basically a special specification.
I'm assuming probably ex-military or like a high and tight kind of haircut.
Yeah, like a high and tight haircut, but it's almost as if they've all had a haircut from the same guy in the last week. And he cut their hair very precisely in a very specific way.
Hey, she's gonna be a bastard and take their shoes off.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. That's what you'll be doing, is pulling their shoes off this round.
Yep.
All right.
While keeping an ear out for the other scene. So
Got to see if he is conscious or not. It's this one. All right. That is going to be strength. Okay, you remain conscious. All right, so he is going to attempt to hide. He was down by 2 dice. Okay. All right. As this figure falls into the stacks, you don't see any obvious movement from the area. So Glault, you would be the closest. You're also the first to act.
Glolt is going to move towards where he fell with the intent of at least getting a hold of a tail, a paw, just something of him, just touching him in some way.
You're going to have to make me a dexterity check to get up this this difficult terrain that is now this stack that is on its side. It's actually at an angle.
it's like that library scene from the first Mummy movie. She completely fucked up the. It's all.
Yeah.
You lose your job, librarian. Just you're done.
Yes. Very much.
Or the second one when the sun knocks over all the statues.
Yes. Just yes.
Which I swear they threw that in just to parody the first one from the mother.
They did.
Oh yeah, no.
That was that was a nod.
You know, Rachel Weisz has a wonderful sense of humor, so she loved the hell out of it.
Is that a 22 or 2 2s?
22.
22.
And do I need to retire that dice?
No, Lord, no. They'll keep on using them. So you're able to clamber up over the top of this thing. Make a perception check real quick once you get up to the top of this thing.
All right, because once he gets up there and gets a hold of this thing, he has a plan.
Well, you gotta do the perception check to see if you actually see it first.
Freaking dice, man. 20.
You don't see him. You get up there and look at where you think he's supposed to be. He's not.
Can he use a concentration to enhance that at all? Magnify senses. Magnify senses.
Yes, I'll let you do a magnify senses check to see if you magnify your senses. That will give you an additional 2 dice that you can roll and add to what you just rolled.
13 on magnify senses.
Okay, and roll your 2 additional dice and add the total you had before.
So 20 plus 28.
All right. You're able to center yourself for a moment, close your eyes for a moment, and open them. And you do see down below you in the stacks, crawling through them, the outline of a feline hindquarter, one leg dragging behind as if it's injured, seemingly trying to get away.
He ain't getting away.
Okay. Are you going to lunge for him?
Dive down into them and just grapple.
In that case, make me a strength attack a dexterity for a brawl attack. If you have brawl, you can use brawl.
I have brawling.
Oh, sorry,
Yep.
brawl is strength. Yeah, brawl is strength.
I have it.
Yeah, make a brawl.
Quick question to
Yes.
not Revenge of the Fifth.
Mhm.
Do I hear? sorry, Keith. I
Oh
love
yeah,
this.
you're hearing.
Am I hearing the
hearing-
growling and the scuffling going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, you're hearing the scuffling and the clangs and all the sounds of crystals hitting the floor and
And
Yeah.
because Hayes just kind of look over there, brother. Okay, is he gonna holler this out?
yeah.
Echo.
And of course, yeah, the echo of the stack still echoing through the deal. So this thing, you
goes on over there?
Galt, as you lunge forward, you're able to barely get your hand around an ankle. So
That's all he needs.
so we'll work on what happens next after Tendrick's turn. Actually, Tendrick and Haish's
The
turn.
way he does it though is you guys just hear, heck no, as he
Yeah.
does a dive
Yeah,
as if he's
Tendrick, yeah.
diving off a diving board into
Yeah.
the crystals.
That's literally what Tendrick sees. He sees Galt jump off and So, Tendrick, what are you gonna do?
Well, as Hayes yells out, and it echoes around, he's just going to yell back, "We're playing cat and mouse. We're hunting.
Oh, as you were then.
I think we're winning."
Holler if you need me. I'm
I
just
will.
picking through these crystals, and I'm like because Haish's mind, he's like, if it goes quiet, we have trouble.
Mhm.
I will say he will tentatively like take a step in that direction, like I don't know. They got it. It'll be okay, but he'll.
No, so as I see Galot do this dive into data crystals and shelving units, Tendrick's not a dumb guy. Let's be honest here. So he's going to kind of deduce, okay, this thing's underneath everything.
Mhm.
Are they going to pop back out the top, or are we going around somewhere? So, well, actually, let's see. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Tendrick is actually, keep in mind, he's still walking this whole time. Like, he's not in a rush right now. He knows that thing is hurt.
Mhm.
Hence the Terminator walk. He's actually going to walk around to like what we consider like the end in the direction that Galot dived. So
Okay.
essentially, if Galot and this thing come bursting out of the debris as it is, Tendrick's just going to be right there
Okay.
waiting.
All right. All right. Okay. I'll let you do that. So, Haish, since you're looking through these things, do you have the sense force power or force sense?
Sense force. I do.
All right. Roll that for me. Roll that sense dice.
That's actually 3 die for me. To be fair, I mean,
Yeah.
as a Miraluka, am I not always?
Well, this is a specific thing.
I am. I'm
This is beyond the
specifically
surface
attempting
looking.
I am sorry. I'm being silly. Come on. Nice to see you.
Mhm.
That's one explosion. 17.
All right. These crystals have you sense they have a force imprint on them.
Hmm.
And as you concentrate on it, you're able to deduce that the ones that they have in these bags, this is data on specific Master Padawan traditions and lines.
Interesting.
And they're actually these are the fairly current ones. The ones on the floor around you are older.
Mhm.
Ones that either have died out at some point in the past, or that are like ones that that the last known person has died at some point in the past. These are all ones that either had Padawans right before the end of the Clone Wars, or were slated to take Padawans right before the Clone Wars. You actually find one that sort of beacons out to you, and as you pick it up and sense it, you sense this has something to do with Master Jade.
It's
But
kind of-
you'll need a data reader to actually look at it.
anything that she has touched or has touched her is very much it's a quickened heart beat and trembling fingers from him, and he's absolutely in love with this woman, as a student would be.
Okay.
And
What you also notice, by the way,
okay.
As that's going on, this sense force isn't just focused on this. Literally, you sense the force around you. You sense Tindrick
Right.
as a like a beacon in the force. You sense Glalt the same way, a beacon in the force.
Two very
But
familiar, very loving.
the two figures on the floor next to you are more muted force presence, the kind that you get normally from someone who does not have any skill in the force,
Right.
or not have a weak connection. You also get the same weak connection from that feline character. Is not a force user at all. You also get the sensation of fear and pain from it, and a sadness.
I'm gonna send the Jedak of the game a private message here. Just briefly. Inside joke, Jedak of the game. I'll explain later. Keith, are you typing? Okay. Control and sense roll.
You have to roll controlling your sense. If you roll high enough, if you roll high enough, you might be able to do that. You're not trained in that skill, but you might be able to pull it off.
I'm only asking because Haish reads a lot. He knows a lot of this shit exists. I mean, I don't know how to do it though. So that's 2 skill rolls separately. Correct? Okay, so sense. Nice to see you. That'll be 9 and wait, no, that's only 2 times. 9 and a 10.
You reach out to it, but you're not sure if you actually made contact or not.
Okay.
What were you trying to send?
I'm gonna whisper, stop struggling. They won't hurt you.
Okay. Just say you send it out, you're not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not sure if you make a connection or not. It's sort of hard to tell. All right, back to the top. Glalt, as you're about to pull this thing in, you feel it go limp.
All right. That's all I needed to know. It's a good thing it goes limp because Glalt is pissed. Glalt had to chase this thing. It tried to hurt its friends. Glalt is mad. Control another's pain in a perverted way towards the Sith side.
Okay, you're gonna do that?
Enhance
All
pain
right.
while
So you gotta
yelling
roll
at
those-
the top of his lungs, tell me why you're here.
Roll those dice for it.
That
and
is.
and give yourself a dark side point.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. That's a dark side point for me. Yay.
What?
you can
Haish
push this to
doesn't
pass
get the
4 rounds.
first? Oh, okay.
He certainly lied. Yeah.
Not that I didn't lie on purpose, did I?
Control
No, I did.
and then alter separate, right?
Yes, control then alter, yes.
Control is a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17 on control.
All right.
Now the alter, which is only 2 dice. 20.
All right. This thing starts screaming in pain. Hey, make me a strength check.
A strength check.
Yeah, this is basically a stamina. Strength and stamina is the same thing in this.
Oh.
Because you're currently sensing, doing force sense,
Mhm.
and she just used a dark side ability, or she just basically manifested the dark side. So you feel it very keenly.
Oh yeah, no, as a Mira Luca, it's amplified for me.
Yeah. So
Um,
this is sort of like all of a sudden an explosion nearby going off.
Heish will kind of just like visibly shudder with an 11.
All right. You actually start hurting yourself. It's like you're catching the edge of this thing because you were so open to the force at that moment. So at least until this thing ends, you're going to be down by 1 die, basically, because everything just seems to hurt. Every old injury you have suddenly flares into new pain, basically.
At that time that Tindrick dropped a speeder piston on my foot, and it
Yeah.
broke my
That
big
foot
toe.
hurts. That big toe is throbbing. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of like growl, holler out,
Yeah.
"Would you quit that?"
but yeah, you hear that that thing basically yowl out in pain, and then goes limp. So, Tindrick, you actually see this thing's face as it looks up at you. At first, it had a pleading look on its face, almost like it was trying to surrender. Then it suddenly screamed out in pain and just passed out. So, and since that's the end of combat, we're going to, suffice with the rounds thing. So, what are you guys doing next?
Heish is gonna get himself up and go sit on a desk that he knows damn well his ass is supposed to be on, and just kind of rub his face.
Okay. There's one nearby. There's actually about one about every 20 feet or so.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Tindrick, what are you doing?
So I saw this go down, but do I
Yeah.
know what Galalt did?
You may have a roll me a perception to see if you understand. Now, Heish knows because Heish was open to that sense,
Of course.
but
16.
you get probably a pretty good idea. Either Galalt really strongly twisted this thing's ankle, or it may have used a force power. It's hard to say exactly because you don't really have a really good view of Galalt from here. But this thing, the way it was looking at you almost pleadingly, and then suddenly like yowling out in pain, almost to the point that the volume was almost painful to you, and then just passing out, had to have been some kind of intense pain. So,
Galalt, I think it passed out.
Well, damn. And he's going to say that loudly.
mhm.
But there's going to be a twinge of regret to his voice.
Yeah. You actually, Galalt, feel cold right now. Very cold. You haven't felt this cold since you got off that planet. That ice planet that you were stranded on for so many years. It's almost like a little bit of that darkness of the nights when it got really, really, really bitterly cold is creeping back into you at the moment.
And as he climbs out of the stack, dragging the cat with him, he's a little more gentle with it now.
Yeah.
And he's just going to start muttering, I just wanted information, just
Mhm.
wanted to keep everybody safe. And he's just going to keep muttering
Well, this cat is big. This cat's bigger than you.
at that as he very,
Um,
very gently
yeah.
starts. Yeah. As he very, very gently starts dragging it. He's being gentle with it now.
It's got tawny colored fur, tufted ears, very, very vicious looking teeth. Its claws aren't, of course, you really can't see them because they're retracted. So, but it definitely has retractable claws like a cat would on its fingers, and on its hind feet. It has a satchel slung over its shoulder, and basically just like a loincloth. And it doesn't look, I mean, it doesn't look like it's, I mean, if you want to look in the bag has a couple of Data crystals in it. It's got just a few little different, like odd little knickknacks. Like there's a little small carved figurine, and there is a data pad with about 100 Imperial credits on it, and it's an ID. The identification is for one Anjay Rama, which is the same one that you saw as identified as a dangerous person, supposedly up at the mining station.
It's too quiet over there.
Yeah, it is
We
getting very
won the
quiet.
game.
Excellent.
They lost.
These lads are sleeping.
Mhm.
I kick one of them.
He grunts.
Keish, I heard it.
Well, you hurt me too. Now bring that thing over here so we can see it in the light.
But
Or
it's
is it-
hurt.
Or is it like a bull in a field? If a bull dies in the field, it's gonna stay in the field.
Well, it's you have med packs
Yeah.
back in your ship.
Those are ours.
Mhm.
Not for large cats in temples. That should not be.
Glalt is actually going to use control another's pain correctly this time and try to
Okay.
soothe what he did,
All right, roll that.
because he does feel really horrible about it.
Mhm.
13 on
Tindrick would've grabbed
control.
the data pad.
Okay. Look at the data pad. It's basically it's very basic stuff. It just basically has a small account, like 100 Imperial credits, which is not very much. And an ID that identifies it as this name. It says that it is an Imperial citizen. So what that basically means is that it's a non-human that has a proper pass to be able to go into certain civilized areas. There's on certain planets and certain cities, non-humans cannot go. This is like a pass that allows it into those areas. Okay, you're able to see this pain a bit there, Glalt, but yeah, it's still unconscious. But you're able to get him between. If Tindrick helps, you guys can get him over to where Haysh is with the other two that are currently unconscious. Luckily, blaster bolts don't bleed because they cauterize. So, and yeah, exactly. Haysh, that's exactly what it's like. It's like the upper and lower sea divisions on Telos and Night Steel Republic.
Mhm.
A lot of Imperial planets, they're divided into human-only areas and the non-human areas, which are generally the slums.
Oh yeah, no, it's a terrible
so,
place
yeah.
to be.
Yeah. So in a lot of cases, you can't actually get up into, you can't do a lot of Imperial business unless you go into those areas. So there's a lot of services and such that non-humans aren't allowed to access in those areas. It's a bit of some discrimination going on there, if you will. But once you get them together there, what are you guys going to do?
Can I see them from where I'm at, or are they kind of behind a mountain of toppled
Well,
bookcases?
you have a stack of bookcases that are still up right in front of you between where you are where they are.
Okay.
But when they get him drug around there, it's obvious they're carrying this big ass cat.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
Haysh is gonna
and-
be sitting
yeah.
on that desk, and he's kind of like leaning,
Mhm.
trying to see.
Yeah, and they're able to get them together with you have the two bodies that are laying there. I'm assuming you probably drug the two bodies off to one side, and then had the two guys that were alive off to the other side or whatever, divided up a little bit. The guns out of reach, and yeah, you see them bring him around, and it's still a heavy haul for them, even with Galt's strength. But
We've got a way to carry this thing easier. Thing's heavy.
yeah, Galt probably has it under the shoulders. You probably have it at the feet. So, and it's probably about 400 pounds.
So when I
So-
do finally see them come over,
Mhm.
I'm gonna kind of cock an eyebrow and be like, "Oh, that thing is enormous. Just dump him. Just dump him. Don't strain your backs." And he's
But-
gonna kind of get, again, Haish doesn't have eyes, but he's gonna be stink eyeing at Glout, going. He's not gonna say anything, but that expression, you know what you did, and I don't have to say anything.
Galt feels horrible, and he's gonna try to make up for it once he gets over there by trying to soothe the pain of the captives.
Yeah. So
You'll see that
Yeah,
the
they-
kid's
they
gonna have a
definitely-
big goose egg on his forehead.
yeah, the kid will be okay, but the two that have been shot are probably need some medical attention at some point, or their injuries might wind up being permanent.
He's gonna do the best he can to try to help the cat's knee, because he did the most injury to the cat.
Yeah.
Like he's
It's
gonna try to
pretty, yeah.
bind it, to try to put it into place.
Well, you'll want to have a med kit, which they're pretty common. Basically, what a med kit is. Hello, Tendrick. What a med kit basically is it's a device, like a box that you place over the injury. It has a strap that basically allows you to strap it to it, and it's almost like a very low level droid. It analyzes the injury. It applies antiseptics to bride the wounds, applies pain relievers, and synth flesh as a bandage, basically. Sort of starts the process of healing.
Didn't we take the doctor
Yeah,
droid from the other place?
Yeah,
there's a medical droid on your ship. Yeah,
yeah, we cut with a slightly damaged
Leaf.
nervous system.
They're
Okay,
out on the
okay.
ship, out in the
Oh
corridor.
yeah. Okay, so you're gonna use a comlink to call Leaf.
Yeah,
Is that what you're gonna? Okay. Yes, sir.
we need to prep the cargo bay, and we need to get the doctor in there. We have a couple injuries.
Yes, sir. I'll start. I'll get the process begun.
Sacrificing my cargo space because these people had to play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Mm-hmm. So,
I'm gonna protest Haish is gonna protest ever so slightly. I don't want that hairy thing on my ship. You bring the doctor
But
outside,
you
and
took
he
me.
can. You're different. He did the doctor
I
can
shit
come
on your
out.
ship.
You clean up after yourself. I don't know about that. This thing.
No, I don't.
You
Ace,
don't.
I'll take full responsibility. Just
No, I just sweep it in a corner.
Fine, as you
at
were.
that, because Hayes mentioned it earlier, you notice something, or I should say, you notice a lack of something. That monk is nowhere to be seen.
Where's our monk?
Is my concentration still going, or no?
You can no, wait at this point, but you can still roll for something if you want to like do a sensing of some type.
I'm gonna try and reach out to him.
Okay.
Wow, shit, that is right here. 11.
All right. So you reach out. Are you using sense force or sense life?
Sense force.
Okay. You reach out in the force, and of course, you feel your companions nearby. You feel the life force of the three that are nearby. And faintly, way down past maybe toward the back of this library, because it disappears off into darkness,
Mm.
you sense three very faint force sources, probably 150, probably 150 meters down.
Hey, Shwell.
One of those presences makes you very uncomfortable.
Haish hasn't said anything at this point, but he's gonna very creepily do like that. That blind man look, zero in on that, and he's gonna hop off the table and go, "Oh, hello there." It's not a combat stance, but it's kind of leaned forward with the lightsaber in his hand. Still not activated though.
I almost need to
Gentlemen,
mute down for that sneeze.
the cat is no longer a priority. Gather the loot. We need to be about our business here.
Understood.
Like we're leaving, get about our business, or trouble's brewing and we're going headlong into it. Take care of our
Again,
business.
I sense three things down that hallway. And I like dancing, but I don't think one of those is a good dancing partner.
Kendrick,
And
can I borrow my lightsaber again?
Go hand it back. over.
Haish,
Leith,
being the no, go for it.
Leith, cancel the dock. Get the ship started.
Yes, sir.
Can I sense the aura that was Tiern anywhere? Or is he one of those entities?
He is one of the three. He is not the one that gives you pause, though.
See, okay. I'm gonna he's again reactivate his lightsaber, and I'm charging down that hallway. He's gone. Haish is gone. There's a green light running down a dark hallway. He's gone. Goodbye. guys.
Round 2, Glow activates and charges after him.
In Haish's mind, Tiern possibly could have been an ally. We have to see.
Okay. All right. So you charge down the hallway, and you see it basically, it seems like it goes on what feels like forever. Just yard after yard after yard of stacks with these crystals. Most, by the way, one of the things you notice is a lot of these crystals there's some that have fallen to the floor because obviously this place has been through a hell of a cataclysm. But a lot of them were, the way they were placed on the stacks was fairly stable. And it is, they're still actually in their places. Your lightsaber casts odd reflections off of these crystals and such as you go by, and it seems like almost as if you feel your companion is behind you, running with you, but at some point it almost starts feeling odd, almost like you're running down a endless hallway. You do see a pinpoint of light at the end.
What kind of light?
It's like it's an odd diffused light. It's not like a single point. It's almost like a glow. It could be from a lightsaber. It's hard to say, but as you get closer, as you finally, and actually I want the three of you to do me a control check for force power control, just control. Oh.
Oh, come on now. Nice to see you. 23 on my control.
All right. All right. The 14 and the 13 there. That's enough. Haish is the first one to realize it, that there is some kind of a weird force effect that's occurring. And Glalt and Tindrick also a few seconds later figured out too that this sensation of you running in an endless hallway is an illusion, and you're able to shake yourself out of it. And you find yourself standing about 20 feet from the end of the stacks, beyond which is an open area. The open area isn't huge. It's maybe like 10 meters across. But at the backside, there is a doorway. This doorway has symbols carved into it that are they're abstract and geometric from the walls coming up, but sort of like just above the doorway itself, they resolve themselves into an image of three figures: an older male figure, a female figure, and a younger male figure. And You see your monk friend, Tyrn,
Is
standing probably 5 feet from this archway or this opening.
okay.
And
Let me,
in this,
let me pause.
Mhm.
These three figures. It.
Mhm.
I think I misinterpreted, or misunderstood. Is Tyrn one of these, or these
no,
statues?
these, this is like a carving in the wall.
Okay, it's
So
a it's a
this is, yeah, this
relief
is
in the
a
wall.
decoration.
Excuse me.
Yes. So
Please
you have
continue.
these geometric symbols that come up, and then at the very top of this doorway, there's this image of these three figures that are carved into the wall. It's actually something you remember from your time at the temple when you
I
were very much
recognize
younger.
them.
You never really were told about them, but they were like carved above the entryway to the inner sanctum of the Jedi temples. Basically, there is some kind of a religious aspect to these figures among the Jedi. But you didn't get far enough in your training to actually get to that point of understanding what they meant. You were told at one point that once you become a Jedi Knight, you'll be told the secrets. Anyway, this figure of Tyrn is standing about 5 feet on your side of the doorway, and the light that you're getting is from a figure standing in the doorway. The light is coming from this person's lightsaber, which is glowing a golden color.
Keith. Can you take another one of these out?
Okay. So, what is your impression?
Haish will. I mean, he's running. I'll let Keith finish there. Okay. Haish is obviously running down this hallway, and once he's kind of like mentally worked through the illusion, but once Tyrn will actually register, he'll kind of like rock back on his boots and kind of like slide a few feet, and then kind of bathing in the glow of his own green lightsaber, kind of like stalk to Tyrn's. I'm gonna be on his right side, and I'm not gonna look at him, but I'm just let him know that I'm there. With the Force, if I need to roll anything.
Glolt
You're
is
muted, Keith.
Yes, Lowell. Sorry.
Glolt is gonna look at that gold and recognize what it is.
Okay.
That's the blade of a Jedi Temple Guard.
Mhm.
And he's gonna look at a Jedi Temple Guards would not be blocking the passage of an actual Jedi.
Right.
So what he's gonna do is he's gonna walk up to this monk and put his blade to his back.
Okay. You see this monk, as you put it, Tendrick. He is setting. That's Tendrick. You're Tendrick. Tyrn. He's sitting there, and he has. You notice that he basically is standing there, both hands together in front of him, almost in a prayerful type manner, and his head is bowed and his eyes are closed. He doesn't even actually seem to register your presence. The figure in the doorway is odd. He's human. He's dressed in the robes that you would expect to see a Jedi Knight wearing, but the robes themselves are black. And the figure is human. His dark hair, dark eyes, and the best way to explain it is a terrible countenance. And Haish, you know this is the figure that you sensed that gave you pause. Beyond him is another figure that you sense faintly that is a very calming figure. And then Tyrn is there, and he seems to be almost like it's like he's there, but he's not. It's like he is physically there, but his mind may be elsewhere.
Haish will just simply mutter to the entity in the dark, or the one with the gold lightsaber. I'm hoping that my fellows and I come in peace. What are you guarding?
The temple, the figure says. And you recognize the voice. You heard it when you first landed. There was a ghostly presence. And you got a sense of its name. The name comes back to you once again as your eyes pass over this. You've heard of this, you've read about this figure
Oh God!
as a historical figure.
Haish's eyebrows will disappear into his hairline and say, "I mean no trespass or offense,
Yes.
Master Kildroma. May we pass? We are."
That is to be seen.
What is your
Jedi?
test,
Are you
then?
Jedi?
I don't know. Well, hey, sure, you gonna do it? Are you? Oh, for fuck's sake. Slit his guts open right there. He basically gives him the sob story in a bullet point form, like, I could have been, I wanted to be, I almost was, and then the world changed on me. So you tell me.
Mhm. After he hears your sob story, he looks to Tendrick. Says, "Are you Jedi?"
Kendrick will look at his brother, look back at the figure.
You'll just mutter, "We could have been."
If I am to be, it has not yet been revealed.
I'm looking past this thing now.
He looks to Glault. But behind him, all you see is a white room. It's lit with very comforting golden light, almost like the same color as the lightsaber.
Mm.
He looks to Glault and says, "Are you a Jedi?"
I am a Padawan who dreams of healing, but of protecting at any cost.
Who is your
So-
master?
Kekrok,
Can he
gone
speak?
from this world.
So he is not here to speak for you, but he
No.
is.
If you can contact his force spirit, he is.
Then we shall see. And all three of you suddenly feel the world spin, and you're standing in a room. Not the same room you're in, and you're not together. You're alone. But you will all hear and see the exact same figure. You see a woman. She is she's not particularly striking. I mean, she is a beautiful woman. She's mature. She's human, has long red hair that's shot through with golden strands, almost as if sunlight has been trapped within her locks. And she's wearing the robes of a Jedi Master, but the robes are a golden yellow color. They're not the usual brown that you expect that you normally would see. And the face does not register as someone you know. And she says, "You've come a long way to be here. Yet you didn't know the path was to here. But the Force brought you anyway. I have something for you." You all hear this exactly. You all hear this, but you're in it. You're each by yourself with her in the room. You have to pass but one test. And she holds out her hand, and in her hand is a small bird. I mean, this thing is tiny. It basically sits in the middle of her palm. And she says, "Tell me what this is." Galt, we'll go with you first. What's your answer?
It's a bird in her palm.
It's a little small bird in her palm. It's just sitting there looking at you with the tiny little black eyes.
A being worth protecting. Something that deserves a chance to grow.
Tindrick, what's your answer?
Tindrick has that look in his eyes, like he actually needs to give like the scientific name and just be super conventional about this, but he knows better right now. He's going to look at it. He's going to look at her. He's going to look at the bird again. That is innocence, pure and untouched.
And Haish, what's your answer?
He'll just take a few moments sensing it, as he can't actually see it. See its aura, see it as a being of nature, and he will utter, "That's another aspect of life and the Force, similar to myself, but of a different kingdom, of a different realm, a different place."
She smiles, and you all three see her smile. And she says, "Good." And only Haish sees her lean forward with the bird and hold it out to him, as if for him to take it. She turns her hand over, and you find the three of you standing once again out there in that foyer, with this daunting figure of Ulic Qel-Droma standing in the doorway, and the monk still sitting there in a meditative stance. And Haish has in his hands a holocron. And you hear in your mind, you knew it was the Force. All of you knew part of it, but you, Haish, you know she's talking to you, knew it was the Force. And how delicate and precious a thing it is. How easily, and Galt, you feel a bit of a bite from these words. And there are some who could easily crush it with hate, out of fear, loathing. Protect it, keep it safe, and nurture it. And one day it will become one of the greatest things in the galaxy. But if mistreated, it can become the most fearsome opponent one has ever had to wrestle with. As my friend there before you understands.
Who is she referring to when she says friend?
The one in the doorway, Ulic Qel-Droma. Now, you can do a knowledge check and see if that makes sense.
I got to separate my character and player knowledge here.
Right.
The player knows
That's
that Ulic Qel-Droma is not a nice guy, but he gets results.
Right.
Sure. I'll make a knowledge check.
So you all can. So
Any particular knowledge or just knowledge in general?
history or knowledge Jedi.
19.
So or just general knowledge.
I
Okay,
have general knowledge,
that's fine.
but hey, she'll kind of be transfixed by this holocron, but
Right.
he'll look at the apparition. I'm assuming it's an apparition standing behind him in the
Yes.
dark.
Yeah, basically.
I will cherish this
All right.
gift. Thank you. And
Someone must keep it alive. And you know from so Haish and actually all three of you have enough information to know because you did enough study as children of history of Jedi and certain specific times in history where there was a major calamity, if you will. And knowing Ulic Keldroma is there and her referring to him as her friend, it's probably the figure you probably were speaking to was a Jedi Master Nomi Sunrider, who died probably 10,000 years ago when Ulic Keldroma was alive as well. You also get in your mind a flash of insight, because all of you have encountered as children temple guardians, and they've always had that feeling about them that they were scary. Galt specifically, if Galt chooses to share this, because of the whole had gotten to the Padawan part and may have asked the question, was given the answer that temple guardians are those who had fallen to the dark side and been brought back. But because of that temptation, generally as their penance, they swore to remain in the temple and guard it and never leave it. In a way, it keeps the dangerous ones close, if you will, and also puts the most dangerous ones you could think of in the position of being the last defense. This, the figure in front of you, knowing that it was 10,000 years gone, obviously isn't alive. It must be a force projection of some type. But as you're looking at this this holocron, the golden color begins to fade a bit as you see him. The figure sort of fades away, and it says, "You will be Jedi," or something close, before it fades out of existence. And then you see the monk sort of comes out of his trance. He's like, "What? But I wasn't." And he stops and looks and sees it's dark. He notices you there, and he's, I'm sorry.
Where did you go, Tyrion?
I was conversing with a beautiful lady.
Did she have red hair?
Yes, it's shot through with gold.
I just got done speaking with her too, and I'm still looking at the holocron in my hand.
She has wisdom. She has wisdom that, I mean, I could stay here and converse with her for the rest of my days, and still not plumb the depths of her wisdom.
And it wouldn't be a life wasted, would it?
No, it would not be.
Haitia's just transfixed by the knowledge that he's got in his hand now.
Yeah, so it's almost that holocron almost sings to you. Yeah, I mean it's drawing you to it, and the knowledge is there. It's almost, it's like it's right beyond your access.
He will kind of like, he does it to Tindrick when every so often when like at home when they were kids, when he had to go into town, or when Haish had to leave, but they kind of like, it's the hug where you touch foreheads together.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he'll do the same with the holocron, like kind of instinctually, and then put it in like the special pocket of his satchel, and kind of steel himself, and kind of points to the doorway. I'm not a Jedi. I'm a mystic. I am not going in there.
Okay. As you're talking to him, you suddenly see him sort of get a look on his face, and you see Galt's lightsaber ignite at his back, like an inch from his back. Make me an attack, Galt.
Yep. Please work, please work, please work. There's a good reason.
The dice hate you.
My dice love me.
Uh-huh.
$34.
You go to ignite this lightsaber to try to basically, as your mind is to take this figure out. He suddenly does something with a 41.
Nice.
As I said, the dice hate you.
Nice.
He does this twist, lean dive away from you, and the blade actually ignites and catches just the edge of one of his robes as he tumbles away and winds up 10 feet away from you. And he holds his hands up and says, I am not your enemy.
You abandon us
I
to
was
come here.
I was proceeding with the mission. I
You
have a mission with my
abandon us.
master.
You die.
You are not my concern. And obviously you can handle yourself.
What are you on about, Glalt?
He left us with those things. What if we hadn't have survived? He would have gotten what he needed and left. We trusted him, and he just left us. He didn't try to help.
Well, for certain, he is not beholden to us. And we are not beholden to him. And as it would seem, he is here for his own business and his own mission. We just seem to be occupying the same site. Am I wrong? And he looks at Tyrion.
He holds his hands up and says, I have no quarrel with you. I have what I came for.
And I look back at Glalt and I say, please do not make adversaries with someone we don't need to. That is a non-combatant right there.
But he could have resulted in all of your deaths. And where would that leave me? Where would that leave Tindrick? Where would that leave you?
Well, it would leave us all cold and dead in a ditch, yes. However, we're not. We're here.
You used us as a distraction.
I don't believe so.
I merely chose not to engage in violence. My order does not believe in violence as a first solution. We do not believe that it is proper to charge at an enemy with a weapon drawn when peace, and in some cases not being noticed, is more effective and results in less deaths. Your actions resulted in 2 deaths at least. Yes, I felt them die. Their blood is on your hands.
Glalt, who charged down the hallway?
You as well.
No, me. You followed. So if anyone needs to be upset, you're talking to him.
Then why don't you get the guy?
I'm not going to, because he is a non-combatant. Tyrion, do you have quarrel with me?
I do not.
Then I do not have quarrel with you.
Then toss him a pistol. Then he's a combatant.
He shakes his head
Jedi
and
do
said,
not use blasters,
no.
and I am not a barbarian.
And you're just going to walk to the door.
While we're fighting Tindrick's just whatever.
Tyrion sort of adjusts his robes a bit, looks at the hole that's cut in the side of them, shakes his head and says, this is just a small example of what Jedi have done. They strike first and think later.
And that's why I'm not going in there. Haish will sit down and he just close his eyes that he doesn't have. He'll just start meditating.
So Tindrick looks in the door, right? What's beyond? The door was at one point an inner sanctum. It had a place. It made you see the place like where the Jedi Master Council of this temple would have sat. There is a large window that looks out, and you can see the flickering edges of the force field that's keeping the atmosphere in the area just beyond it. And there is a crystal at the center of this thing on a little pedestal. You know that, well, you may or may not know this, but it looks like it's in a very important position, so it's probably important in some way. But you wouldn't necessarily know why it's important. It's just obviously about where it sits. It's the focus of the room, basically.
I'll look back at the others.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about this.
Hey,
Like
she's no
looking
longer
back at
paying
them, like
attention.
someone needs to come educate
Mhm.
I
boy.
will. I will keep an eye on that monk and walk forward. I
Okay.
don't
He just-
trust him.
He sort of relaxes a little bit and steps back and says, "That is not for me. That area is a Jedi sanctum, not mine."
Haysh is no longer paying attention. He's simply meditating, and he's going to a place that he's not going into the temple because he himself does not think he's a Jedi. So if for the scene, if he's hanging out with Tiernan, then that's what we're doing.
Okay. Glalt, you going to go into the inner sanctum? Okay.
Yes.
Both of you, with the two of you together talking, you and Tendrick, I'll let you guys do a knowledge check to see if you can figure out what this might be. I mean, you all know that this looks like basically a council chamber. So
22.
11.
between the two of you, you can figure out that crystal probably is a communications device, possibly, or a part of one that might be force activated, because there's no obvious controls on the outside. And it just, if you pick it up, if you touch it, and just pick it up, it just literally lifts up out of its setting. And it's I forget the exact term, but basically it's two four-sided pyramids joined at the base. So the points one goes up and one goes down.
Yeah.
And it's very, very clear. It's almost translucently clear. You can almost, of course, light hits it and it warps the light a little bit because of the facets and such, but it looks almost, optically clear.
You want to touch it or should I?
Tinder could go touch it.
Okay, nothing happens. You literally lift it out of its setting. It's actually fairly heavy for its size. Probably weighs about 5 pounds, but you can actually hold it in one hand.
And is there anything else in the room or just
It is
that?
just that and the seats that are seating molded from the chamber itself. This chamber looks very organic. As I said, you have a large open windows looking out over what would it probably at one point been the capital city of Alderaan, but now is just sort of the shattered remains of the edge of an asteroid. So now you do see something as you look out there. You see a dot appear with a streak. A little too far away for your basic eyes to see what the heck it is, though. But it's definitely a ship that just came out of hyperspace.
Lee, do you have anything on scanners?
Because Beck says, "Yes, sir. A capital ship just entered the system." Okay, go ahead, H, to make your sense.
Go.
Make your sense for us.
Well, time to go.
Kill the monk before we go?
All right.
And Glalt says that with a little too much cheer in his voice.
No, we're not killing the monk.
Save the cat.
You both can be left here. You and your cat.
Fine, fine, fine.
I'm
My
not kidding,
apologies.
Glalt.
My apologies for on the way.
So
Tyrion.
as they're doing that examination, Haish, you and Tyrion are in that room for a few moments together. So
If I can
Visual.
request, sometimes I have trouble meditating because I have a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear in my heart. I would like for you to show me what meditation techniques that you're able to. I don't think we have time because there's something dark that just showed up. How can I contact you again?
well, I would. If when you are meditating, you reach out into the forest to me, if you are not too far away, I should be able to sense your presence. But I
Okay.
myself am not a teacher. I myself am a learner myself.
Well, damn.
My master might be able to teach you a thing or two.
Is he or she still with us?
Yes. She sent me.
Well, and he'll rise to his feet slowly, kind of walk over. I always, in my mind, I kind of pictured Tyrion to be a lot older than Haish. How old is he?
Oh no, he's not much older than you guys. Now that you really
Oh.
look at him, he's probably maybe this. I mean, not too much. Got older than
Haish
you
is
all.
26, so
So
maybe 30.
he's probably maybe 28, 30.
Oh, whichever. They're the same age then. Damn, never mind.
Yeah, basically the same age. Yeah.
All right.
When you he says when you're able to get away, if you will,
We're
and
heading back to
disentangle
Ord
yourself
Mantell
from
soon.
disentangle yourself from these situations. Come to the Zelos system. The Zelos 2.
Zelos too.
When you're there, at the spaceport, ask about me. Someone there will send you to our to where we are.
All right. I hand him
But
over
make
my
sure
data
that
pad.
but make sure you are. He types in a few little basic information instead. What's actually on your data pad when you get back is a bit vague, but it's
Good.
obvious that
It's
he's smart for
intentionally
that.
vague for his
Yeah.
and his own
For his-
safety.
Right. So come and ask after me, and we'll
All right.
find you.
We'll keep our heads down.
But
then.
only after you've disentangled yourself from this situation.
Oh,
He sort of motions out towards space. So, and once you've learned about that, he points at the holocron that you have.
he probably points at my bag.
Mhm.
Yeah. At that point, he'll kind of just like nervously look back at his companions. They're probably coming out of the room right now. And
At that point, yeah, they're coming out of the room, and you just sense that dark presence.
and I'll look back at Tyrion and go. We'll be in contact later. Come on,
Okay.
we need to leave
He
now.
nods, and he, oddly enough, he turns to leave, but as he does, it's almost like he falls into the shadows, and you really can't track him with your eyes. He disappears.
I'm
Yeah.
not hauling, but I'm
you.
jogging down the.
No, to Haish.
Oh,
To you, he sort of disappears into the shadows. Same thing with the other two when they actually see him visibly seems to disappear in the shadows. It's almost as if he wrapped himself in the lack of the force. It's hard to say.
interesting.
So,
I'm jogging down the hall at this point.
okay. Right,
We gotta go.
yeah, you get to the point where you see the cat laying there still unconscious. The other two, the kid that you sort of beat up on a little bit he's awake. He's sort of looking around, but he hasn't gathered his wits yet. When he sees you guys coming, he sort of scuttles back and hunkers over against the stacks as you run by.
Glalt is gonna slow down for a second, knowing he can catch up to them if he runs full speed, and says, "Kid, grab your crew, wake them up however you have to, run, and then take off
Okay.
back towards his crew.
Okay. You see him lean over to that one fellow who's still alive and starts to shake him awake. And then he looks over almost timidly and reaches over and shakes the cat and jumps back. So, but that's what you basically see as you turn the corner heading out toward the open area where your ship is. You see the Sith intruder launching, and you see your ship. The engine's already spun up and ready to go.
I'll stand at the bottom of the loading ramp, waiting for my companions to get on first. Haysh kind of makes it a habit. He gets on the ship last.
Okay. The other two basically sort of hurry on. The ship starts to launch literally as you get to the ramp starts to lift up. And you move up to the cockpit, I'm assuming, Haysh.
Yeah,
And
Haysh.
Leith is in the co-pilot seat as he normally is, basically doing a basic takeoff. And when you get up there, he says, "Sir, the sensors. It is it's an Imperial patrol ship. They've launched fighters, 4 of them, TIE fighters.
Let's see if we can lose them in the asteroid field. And Leith, the code on that Marauder that just left,
Yes, sir.
save it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
That's an acquaintance.
Yes, sir. I'll save it.
Let's get out of here.
All right. Make me a pilot check.
Starship pilot. Hell yeah. Oh, damn. All right.
And you remember the fact that your ship gives you a bonus dice?
Yep.
You have that
Bonus starfighter die. What is it? I think it's 2 die.
I believe so. The Gilded Lady. Or was the Gilded Lady.
The Jade.
It's now a new name.
That is a 22.
Yeah, it gives you an additional 1D of maneuverability.
Oh,
So, yeah.
22 then. I won't
Okay.
do another one.
All right. You're able to get into the atmosphere, into the asteroid field is there. Is anybody going to be on shields or sensors or anything like that?
I will go over the intercom that we have got for ties coming in, and Haysh just kind of he says that in that tone that Tindrick knows that means Tindrick, I need you on the gun.
Okay. Galt, what are you going to be doing?
Need you on the gun.
I'll go on shield.
Okay, hop on the shields. All right. Okay. In that case, since you are the pilot, Haysh, I need you to roll a perception for me for the initiative, as these 4 ties. Although you're able to get up into the asteroid belt, because these ties are much maneuverable than you guys are, and are weaving in and out and coming right towards you.
14.
Okay. All right. You go first, but as you're doing this, you get a comm, ship comm. The lead TIE pilot cuts in and says, identified ship, you're in a restricted area. Shut down your shields and your engines and prepare to receive a boarding party.
I'm not going to answer.
Okay. All right. In that case, they are definitely, your sensors tell you that the TIE fighters have activated their guns and they are attempting to target you. So basically, what you want to do is a starfighter or a starship piloting skill.
Starship. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And add that 1D.
1 die. That's okay. The 1D. 1 single D. Hey, actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
That is a 24.
All right. Okay. You are able to maneuver yourself to keep asteroids between you and them. They can't actually line up a proper shot.
Good.
Tendrick can see this from the bubble of the turret if he's up there. And Glault's seeing this on the sensors. You do now, Glault, you know that you have two that are directly behind you trying to follow directly, and there's two that are actually trying to angle up and going to try to come down so you can actually inform. Actual, I'm assuming you're doing this as a standard scan, so you can do your technical plus 1D. So you'll have two
Technical?
dice to roll. Yes, technical plus 1D.
Oh,
So you get two dice to roll. So
yay.
Does
Two.
Gloth doesn't have any technical, does he?
yeah, he has one die in technical.
Oh,
Okay, total of two. That's okay. Yeah, you're trying to operate the sensors, and you're like, okay, yeah, they're there. Where are? Is it above us or below us? You're having problems orienting where you actually are.
Gloat let Leith do sensors. That's what he's for.
I think I know how to work shields.
No, neither. Let Leith do it.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna get hair everywhere and break something.
Okay.
Leith, take his chair.
Well, yes, I don't have to do that. So I can just transfer it into my console.
Cole is gonna sadly
reaches a
walk back
winch.
to his storage cabinet room.
I before the door of the cockpit closes, I applaud your enthusiasm. Click.
So you're able to, as I said, but keep yourself maneuvering where these TIE fighters can't quite get to a good shot at you with those. Tender, if you want to do a pot shot on, you can. You basically, it's your Starship gunnery plus 2 dice for the fire control if you want to take a shot at them.
Hell yeah.
Is that with me using concentration?
Oh, if you want to use concentration, activate concentration, add 4 dice. And then the 2 dice as well for fire control.
Haish would like to do that as well. Didn't quite know if I had enough time to.
Yeah, you can. So
All right,
you can
well.
actually center yourself and do this. So
I'll do it quickly. That's a 12 for his concentration.
okay, you're able to get the concentration going.
Okay.
So,
42.
oh wow,
Jesus.
yeah.
Well done.
Starship piloting. No, she got her. He rolled a 6 on his wild die. All right, man, that's not quite enough.
Damn.
You hit that cockpit square center, and that tie explodes. You see a pair of the solar panels just basically spiral off in opposite directions of that one. You're pretty sure you shot the pilot, basically. So, more so than
Star
anything
Wars
else.
have last rights. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So with that concentration check, H, what is your piloting roll now?
4 extra dice on there. What did I say? I got a 22 for the previous one. All right.
Yeah.
4 extra dice. Oh damn. 36. You're muted.
You are able to put the ship into a series of spins and curves and sticking close to some of the asteroids, going between some others and such, where it doesn't take long before you have lost them completely.
With that, Haish is going to attempt to try and find our way back to would be a safe place, like a safe gap in the debris to try and jump back to Ord Mantell. Just try and do a very quick, very clean escape.
So you're looking for an open area where you have a direct shot out, so that you're not going to run into
Yes.
and go to hyperspace. Okay, you're able to find something with that roll, definitely.
Yep.
And it takes. Let me see here. We'll use Leith to do this because he's probably doing your astrogation too,
Oh yeah.
unless you want to do it.
Oh no, he's way better.
It is going to take him about 2 minutes to actually do the astrogation.
We have plenty of time.
And you're able to jump out and hit hyperspace. And with that, I want to do a quick 5-minute break.
Okay.
For a bio break, and I'll be right back. Okay.
Woo.
So, all right.
And let me see if I can do this. Oh, wait, no, hang on.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. There we go.
And there. And I am back. Let's.
I am too.
All right.
So, tried to run to the restroom thingy.
I do like that. Is that the sunrise or sunset from Mars?
What this background?
No, the we'll be right back.
Oh.
Your be right back screen.
Oh, this one. I'm not 100% sure. I think it is a
No, that's
it's an artist
probably-
rendition.
Okay.
I don't think it's an actual photograph. But yeah, I like it as well. It is one of my more favorite images. Dang it.
I don't have the hyperspace
Image?
void yeah for my OBS yet. So I probably might have to do that one
I'm sure
sometime.
you will eventually. So
Oh yeah, for the
Oh,
interlude
crap.
scenes.
I left something. Just one moment.
All right.
We'll let Glock catch up with us here momentarily. I think she went to get something.
Okay.
She said she was right back up. So we'll go ahead and continue. So as you guys hop into step into hyperspace, and you feel that horrible, and it's literally the feeling as it lifts as you get away. It's almost like you've gotten used to the oppression feel that you had at the graveyard of Alderaan. It begins to lift. It's almost like suddenly you can actually take a full deep breath. That's what it sort of feels like. So all that death and all that horror that had occurred in that area has a pall about it that seems to just cover everything. Tends to bring out more negative emotions. Haste, it made you feel more aggressive, and obviously the same thing to Glault. It seemed to be a just sort of hovering over everything. And as you go through hyperspace, it begins to recede. You start to have that feeling that it could have become much more. Okay, it could have gone much worse. So
In the layout of our cockpit, is
Mhm.
it because the laser cannon is on top,
Mhm.
looking at the cockpit windows are obviously on top as well.
Yeah.
Can I say something from the cockpit? Or like, well,
yeah,
is it
You
in the
can-
same room, the turret in the in where I'm
the
sitting?
the access to the turret is actually as you go, because you have at the front you have the pilot and co-pilot seat, you have the navigation, and you have the engineering seats behind those facing each wall.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have the hatch that closes. Right beyond that is the ladder that goes up to the turret.
Oh,
So you could actually yell back, and whoever's in the trick can probably hear you.
okay.
So,
I'm not gonna yell, but I'm probably gonna murmur
Mhm.
something to Tindruk.
okay.
I hope Mom's okay. And
Hopefully, we'll be finding out soon.
well, it's gonna be a few days, so we can breathe and we can relax now. Gonna kind of turn to Leith and go, I didn't miss anything while we were here or when we were gone, did we?
No, sir. Nothing. Well, nothing of note.
Nothing of note. I like that. No Nuth is good Nuth.
I mean, there were the 2 probe droids, but
You got them.
no,
No.
they didn't threaten us. They didn't threaten the ship at all.
Oh, but they saw us.
Well, they may have, but they seem to be more focused on what was happening inside the building than they were on the outside.
Ah, that's fair. Leith, may I have the cockpit to myself for a few moments?
Of course, sir. He gets up and moves back to the out of the cockpit and activates the hatch.
The medical droid that we took on,
Mhm.
Tindrik's going to need to fix a little bit on him. Help
Okay.
Tindrik with that specifically.
Yes, sir.
I will be out shortly.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And when he closes the cockpit behind him, he's gonna take out the data crystal that was familiar to him, that
Mhm.
had that response. He's gonna have it in one hand and the holocron in the other, kind of like on each knee.
Yeah.
And oh shit. He's gonna try and reach out to both. Just a
Okay.
few moments, and you tell me what I feel, and I want to see what kind of response Hayes is going to have.
You feel from the holocron, it's as if you're looking at a book,
Mm-hmm.
and the book is closed, and the book has a latch that is locked. And you, by reaching out as you're doing now, it's like you're feeling the edge to the lock, but you're not sure if you have a key.
Okay. This is very
But-
exploratory and with the
But yeah, but you know that if you can find out what the key is, if you open that book, there's so much knowledge waiting in there for you to learn.
right.
It's just a matter of getting it unlocked. And you have a feeling it's not a matter of the key isn't a matter of just knowing how to do something. It's more like you're going to have to explore that lock for a bit and learn how to make a key that fits that lock.
Hayes very much likes puzzles, so this is very amusing, very
Yeah.
mysterious to him.
Yeah. It's
But-
probably one of the most complex puzzles you've ever experienced in your own mind, in a way,
Mm.
because it's not physical.
Right.
So
Very amusing, weird, and wonderful to him.
yeah, definitely. This thing has a certain mindset you have to be in, and there are certain forced things you have to do in combination. You sense that to make this thing open up, but you're not sure what those specific combination is. So
You'll hold the holocron up and just look at it and say,
Yeah.
I will have a conversation with you later,
Yes.
and put it away.
The other one, you get the impression, as I said, that because of the force sense, the sense of it, because this thing has an imprint on it specifically, that it has something to do with Mistress Jade. But
How do
without
I
actually
go
plugging-
about that?
you have to plug it into a data reader.
Can I plug it into mine?
Probably the one that you say that you've seen that has similar ports is the one back in the main cabin. Your mom had it installed.
Ah,
She actually used to use it to teach you kids, do lessons for you.
all right. Well, since we're gonna have this downtime, he'll go back into the main cabin, and who else back there? I'm assuming Tindrick is going to be back doing what he needs to be doing.
Mhm.
And Glalt is going to be in his room. God, hey, she's gonna lock the doors.
Okay.
He's gonna lock the doors from the inside, and
Okay.
um,
So you get the feeling that Glalt's in his chamber, his cabin.
Mhm.
So
and he's gonna access that data pad and see what he can
Okay.
find.
it projects up a holographic image, and it's the first thing image you see is Master Jade.
There's kind of a
And-
catch in his throat.
You can sort of see like going off into the distance, or disappearing in the distance, are other figures. Master Jade's master, and then his master, and then her master, and so forth and so on, literally going back, from the basically you're looking at it going back probably 8,000 years, almost a solid line of master apprentice, master apprentice.
Mhm.
And the thing you see at Mistress Jade is there's an entry that is a figure, child size. And it's reminiscent of you. And as you actually examine it and pull it up, it says unknown Padawan. And as you look into it, it says that she had applied to accept a Padawan, but there obviously for whatever reason there's no entry in there of her being approved, only that it was submitted, and it was submitted the day before Order 66 went out.
Oh God, that's gonna get an emotional response from
Mhm.
Mahesh. He kind of with his head kind of bent and with his hands on the console, he's just gonna let it out. The tears, his leftover tear ducts from the Miraluka ancestor that had eyes. His blindfold is just gonna be stained. And he's gonna be okay. All right. Oh my God. Oh, come on now. Don't do that to us. All right. Hang on. 25. I had 2 explosions in there. You're muted, Keith.
Okay.
He'll just mutter
As
kind of
yeah.
over. He'll mutter in Miraluki's that I miss you so much.
as you do that, you feel an odd sensation with Aldred being a wound in the force, and the force being swirling around it the way it is in a bit of a chaos. It actually acts as an odd magnifier for a moment.
Mhm.
And as your emotion causes this wave to go out, you feel a spark somewhere of recognition.
It's I'll tell you for the narrative, it's sorrow and longing. It's
Okay.
not like romantic or sexual love. It's
Yeah, I miss you,
yes,
basically.
very much so.
Yeah. So as that emotion emanates out from you, you feel a response somewhere. You can't tell where.
Mhm.
It's far away, but it's for a moment recognition. You almost feel like you're looking over someone's shoulder in a crowded marketplace, and you see a figure stop and go to turn, but as it goes to turn, you lose the image. It's almost a what?
Roars in frustration because he knows that frame. He knows that figure. And it's gonna go through, and everyone in this ship's gonna hear it. And so yeah, excuse me. I apologize. Keith, continue, please.
That's fine. Yeah, and it just, you may even reach out again, like as it's trying to grab it. It's almost like trying to grab water or sand blowing in the wind. It's there. You can feel it at the tip of your fingertips, but you just can't grab it yet. It's like as if
like frustration.
As if you pass through that one point in hyperspace that was the focal point of a lens, and then pass beyond it.
Hayes is going to roll through the
Okay.
RAM on his brain computer, like the marketplace, the colors, the people, the species. Where the hell is it?
As you do, everyone in the ship feels a thud, as if something large slamming into one of the bulkheads. For a moment, you think it might be an asteroid or something in hyperspace, but then you realize the noise came from Glault's chamber.
I'll use
roaring and pounding. I can't get work done, people.
I'll telepathically unlock the door that opens to the hallway that Glault's room is on.
This is why we can't have nice things, I swear.
Yeah. So yeah. So Glault, you can come out if you want.
About considering that was a headbutt, how bad does that hurt?
You're dazed. You are definitely stunned.
Yeah.
The pain is there. You're almost cross-eyed, but then again, you're made of sturdier stuff than most bulkheads. So are you going to come out of your room at that point?
He is, and he's gonna see Hayes looking and go,
I'm gonna kill the feed. That's for my eyes only.
Yeah. So make a perception check to see if you saw anything, Glault.
Perception is 4 dice.
I should have killed the feed before I opened the door.
That's actually I like it that way because it's an interesting point of attention for the narrative.
19.
Okay. For a moment, you thought you might have seen a hologram that was similar to a Jedi lineage, and then of course the feed gets killed. But you've seen something. You remember when just before you left for your first mission with your master, you went into the library on Coruscant, and they had you added officially to the record of your master's line. And the image was very similar to that, but of course it was your master. You didn't see who it was, whose line it was that was up. But it looked just for a moment like, what? That's that.
So what do I have to give up for you to make a detour to a jungle planet?
You can get off my ship and swim there yourself.
There's thousands, possibly millions of jungle planets in the galaxy.
How about an investigation into one? Do you know anybody who could do it?
We could.
And
we're on our way back to Ord Mantell.
Might be a dent in your ship. My apologies.
Hey, she'll just simply go, and
Pace,
kind
Pace
of like,
looks like he's been crying. If
You
you
hurt?
cry,
I'm fine.
Stubbed your toe?
I just had something in my eye,
I
which is an obvious, hilarious fucking lie.
I tripped.
I'm aware.
so
So yeah, Jungle Planet vacation. 3-night pass.
well,
We
you
don't
do have to.
vacations.
You are supposed to return to Ord Mantell.
After this job and after we're paid, we can negotiate where the hell we're going next. We have a few days. And there's still a catch in his voice. We have a few days and we can negotiate when we get back.
Appreciated. Try not to stub your toe again.
Oh, we'll try. And he'll go to he'll take the data crystal and put that in one of his belt pouches. For the narrator's knowledge, it's the
Mhm.
belt pouch behind his lightsaber
Okay.
on the left hand side.
Okay. So, did you guys grab any of the other data crystals that were being collected?
Haish has had the two satchels that were
Okay.
full of shit. He's picked up. I believe he still has 2 of the blasters kind of like stuck into
Okay.
his belt, and
Okay.
probably a change of clothes because one of those guys is naked.
I'm
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
And I have
Tindrick,
all of their boots.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Tindrick grabbed the cat's pack. I wasn't sure.
Okay. So,
I'm gonna.
well, so yeah, that's right. Yeah, Tinder did go do his stuff. Yeah, you do have the ID, which is basically a data pad. You have a couple of small little things. There's in the cat's pouch. There's a figurine that's probably about 2 to 3 inches tall. It's made from a very dark wood, and it's a feline figure. It's crudely done. It's not like a high piece of art, but it could be a totem. It could be an image that reminds them of someone they know. It's sort of hard to tell exactly, but it does show the signs of having been handled a lot. Sort of the wear, as if someone's touched it and rubbed a finger across one side of it quite a bit. There is a braid that's probably about 8 inches long. It is not human type hair. But reminds you actually of the fur, but it's been plaited in with different beads and such. It's hard to tell what it actually means. And there's just just a few little other knickknacks that way. And there's also one data crystal in there. It was sort of stuck down in one corner and jammed into like the edge of the seam of the thing. So,
I'm gonna go to the back of the ship into the loading bay,
Mhm.
or the cargo bay, and if the narrator will allow, I'll have a private scene with Tindrick.
Okay.
He'll stand in the doorway and wait until Tindrick looks up at him. And when you finally do, Haish's cheeks will be red. He'll have tears streaming down his cheeks. And he'll say, "Brother, I saw her. Mistress Jade. I don't know where she's at, but I saw her." And he'll walk over, and because Tindrick is the only family that he has on this ship, he's gonna grab him. I'm gonna grab you, and kind of do that like smother, like baby brother kind of hug, and he'll just let it the fuck out, He knows how emotional Haish gets with Mistress Jade and anything with anything referring to her, but he'll just stand there.
Yeah, Tindrick will just embrace his brother and let his brother let it out.
We have to go tell Mum that her sister was in a marketplace on some unknown world, and I want to go find her.
We'll go find her.
Galalt wants to go to some jungle world, but there's a lot of those.
Maybe it'll coincide.
There's
I can
also
only hope.
literally millions of markets in the world in the galaxy that could.
He knows that he's not narrowing it down at all. And again, he'll put his forehead on Tindrick's and just kind of like sit there, and that's probably the only physical connection with the Force that the two of them can have together at the same time. But he's simply just radiating, and he's not being careful. So if any malevolent force has their eyes open at some point, they're gonna see. And Haish doesn't care right now. He's
okay. So as we see the two brothers being brotherly, and embracing each other, and as we see Galalt back in his chamber, Fury, and the juxtaposition of this, I know is going to be very difficult to gather, but furiously meditating. Our camera zooms out to the outside of the ship as it hurls through hyperspace, and the scene slides away and goes back to the graveyard of Alderaan, to this Imperial patrol ship, and the Star Destroyers coming back, or not Star Destroyers, the TIE fighters, the three remaining, coming back, reporting that the ship got away. On that bridge of that Imperial cruiser, we see a figure which we saw before in Ord Mantell. The figure who bowed before Vader, the one who has part of the face covered with this metal mask. And the figure screams in frustration, reaches out, grabs a low-ranking officer, and force hurls him across the bridge, and starts screaming that the TIE fighter pilots are incompetent, that they should not be allowed to dock, and blah blah. And of course the commander of the ship is looking at this fellow like he's insane, and actually stands up and speaks to him and says, "Sir, they are my pilots. They'll come back as I wish." And the fellow turns and yells at the captain that Lord Vader will hear of this failure. And he's like, "I'm sure he will. But we do have this." And he pulls up an image, and it shows an image of the three of you, along with let's see, the three of you, along with Tyrn, whose name I can never freaking remember.
Tyrn.
Probably because of the fact that he's just so stealthy. The four of you entering into the Jedi Temple, and this image, obviously from a probe droid, actually follows you in. It actually gathered information on the conflict you had. You do see Tyrn literally as you charge forward towards these figures. He just basically steps to the next aisle over and just vanishes into the darkness. You see this figure leap to the top of this cat leap to the top of the stack, and of course the whole thing ensues as it played out. And he looks and says, "That's very interesting. Is there more?" So we have one for another probe droid, and it shows another one. It shows you you basically walking very slowly down the stacks later on, almost as if you're in a trance. And finally coming to the end and seeing Tyrn standing there, the three of you approach, and a blinding gold light of an undefined form highlighting the inner sanctum of the Jedi Temple. The figure with the mask looks, he says, very interesting. Captain, launch a shuttle, have my shuttle prepared. I'm going there. And he turns and walks off the bridge. And you see the shuttle launch from the patrol, from the ship, and head into the asteroid field. Then the image pulls back, and we see our group ship coming out of hyperspace. Obviously, a few days have passed into the Ord Mantell system. The Imperial data dump that comes through from the HoloNet basically gives you all the most current news. One of the first things that you learn is that Ord Mantell is currently under martial law. Ord Mantell is they have experienced rebel activity on the planet, in the sector, and the Empire has declared martial law and ordered all ships to be searched upon entry. It doesn't take very long for you to get a message from an Imperial cutter demanding your ship cut engines and prepare to be boarded.
Do they come up on the display?
Oh yeah.
What is said? What is said exactly?
This is Imperial cutter, 4437, ship that just exited the hyperspace lanes. Please shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded.
I'll comply, but as I'm doing so, I'm kind of talking to him in a relatively friendly manner. Haitia's kind of taking the high road here now. We were grocery shopping off-world just for a few days, and we've come back. Did you guys have a party while we were gone? What happened?
There have been several rebel terrorist attacks on Ord Mantell over the past few days.
Of course there are.
We are searching for insurgents and those who are supplying them weapons.
Well, come on over. You will find no rebels on the ship, sir.
Make me a knowledge check, Haish.
General knowledge. Okay.
Yes.
So I have survival and willpower.
Yeah.
It's 3 die plus 0. So that's just for the sake of me doing this right.
Yeah.
It's that is 1 die, 1 wild die, and 2 regular die.
Yes, that's correct.
3 die. Oh my god. Okay, cool. Let's not screw this up here. That's a fat 12.
All right, you know enough about Imperial law to know if they come on that ship and they find those data crystals, and especially if they have that holocron, you are going to be, all three of you are going to be locked down. Your ship is being impounded, and you're going to be shipped off to the nearest Inquisitor, if not outright slain.
One-way ticket to the Korriban system, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
That's in his head. He does not say that out loud.
Okay.
Will they check droids that are not powered up?
Oh no. Depends on how thorough they decide to be. So you've heard stories. You've heard stories of some customs officials literally stripping a ship down to the bulkheads if they choose to do so. And others who just basically come in, just look around, and
I will say,
Hey, show chart.
Tindrick does have a pile of junk parts
Mhm.
that's big enough to easily hide a few data crystals.
Just for my, this is player knowledge, but I want to confirm what data crystal's about. So, and it kind of looks like a flash
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah, about the size of a flash drive, but it's crystal. Yeah.
Okay.
So you probably have a couple dozen of them altogether.
mm.
And yeah, that big communications crystal too. Tindrick's got.
I'm gonna sweet talk the captain, the admiral of that
Mhm.
specific cutter. I'm gonna be
Okay.
like, hey, I mean, it's a Nubian vessel. You guys know that we're staunchly imperial. Come on. I know that you, sir, I'm not saying that you don't need to search. Do your job. All right. But come on. You'll
Don't
be all
worry,
right.
sir. If you've nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Come on over.
Okay.
How long are you going to be?
As
Or
long
how
as
long
it
you-
takes.
All right.
Oh, as long as it takes. It'll be just a few moments before they actually rendezvous with you. You see this this ship, this cutter. It's basically not much larger than your ship,
Mhm.
and it has two TIE escorts with it. Yes, Walt?
How bad would it hurt Glalt to eat the crystals to hide them?
Swallowing them. It might be uncomfortable, but you could definitely try it with a strength check.
Oh, time to strength check it.
I'm gonna quick send Tindrick a text on his data pad. You know that fucking hole without actually looking. I'm being the showman right now, and my hood is up. I'm not.
Okay.
I am not. Haitian's not dumb. He's gonna hide his visage. Basically, gonna send Tindrick a message on his data pad saying, "You remember that hole that we put into the wall when we were kids, and we used to hide shit in there? Remember that?"
Okay.
And it's probably big enough now to stuff shit into. It's in the floorboards under the bed in Tindrick's bedroom. It's about a 2 foot by 8-inch slat. And I'll basically go back to the feed. I'll meet you in the hangar or meet you on the ramp.
Yes, sir.
Kill the feed.
Nick,
And I'm
it,
just gonna hand all my shit off to
Yeah.
lightsaber and all to
Mhm.
to Tindrick, and he knows exactly where to put
Okay.
everything.
So as you're passing this stuff up to Tindrick, you see Glalt apparently swallowing data crystals.
Just kind of momentary horror, like, oh,
Mhm.
that's gonna hurt coming out.
Yeah, probably.
Like I put my hands on glove. Be careful. And I'll just go to the inside of the door.
You also see him literally picking up fur and shoving stuff under fur.
Okay.
Is that a stealth roll to hide shit?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna do that. 3.
I have invested in stealth.
That is a 15 for my stealth too. I don't know what kind of bonus if the Revenge of the Fifth, not Revenge of the Fifth, wants to give us for a hiding place where we actually hid donuts and shit.
So you're able to get this stuff hidden away as you feel the
25
shutter.
stealth.
There you go. So as you feel the shudder of the tractor being latching on to the top of your ship, and this cutter latch or docking with you in the seal of the airlock.
Hey, Leith, let him on.
Mhm.
I'll
Yes,
call
sir.
him.
The airlock pops open. It actually is a on the side of the ship, above where your ramp normally comes down at.
Okay.
The door opens up and 3 Imperial Naval combat personnel come in, not stormtroopers. So
Can I sign language to Glalt? You go back to your room. because he's scary and
Oh, I'm sure. And these three come in. They have blaster carbines, and behind them is a junior Imperial officer, probably lieutenant.
good morning, sir.
Um,
Morning, afternoon, I don't know.
Afternoon Imperial standard, of course.
Oh, afternoon.
May I have your ship's manifest and data logs, please?
Over here.
Okay.
I'll bring him to that center computer where my data crystal was, and
Okay.
the few days before, and I'm like,
Mhm.
turn it on for him. Here you go.
Okay. As he starts looking at that, he looks up to the three and nods, and they split up and start walking, looking.
I
One heads
stay
up.
with the young lieutenant.
One heads up towards the cockpit. One heads back towards the main cargo area. One heads toward the crew quarters. You do hear a bit of a yelp of surprise as the door to Glault's chamber is opened, and he's standing there.
That's Gloat. Just careful. Gloat, please don't. Please just don't.
Yes,
The fellow's
sir.
pointing the blaster at you as if he's terrified of what you are.
Don't shoot at him. He's a friend. He's just
I
If
am
you say so.
security.
Mhm.
You
say
see
so.
him stumbling over Common as if he's just dumb as
Yeah.
rocks.
Okay.
yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks, Lynx.
I hired.
Make me a perception check. That's a deception, basically, which is also perception.
I have deception.
We'll do deception then. We'll do
Excellent.
deception. So
Well, intimidation in this case, as well as law enforcement.
well, deception is what you're wanting to do. You're
All
not
right,
intimidating,
perception
you're trying to act dumb.
All right. 14.
All right. He seems to buy it. And he's like, is this thing safe?
I security. I
Say-
hired to protect.
He was sleeping. Just close the door. Wave
Okay.
politely and close the door.
He waves and hits the actuator, closes the door, and he moves to the next one. Let him go into Haish's room. He goes in, and you can see him go into the other crew quarters, just sort of looks around, The one in the back, it comes back into the cargo area. I'm assuming Tendrick's probably back there with his workshop and such. He comes through and starts looking at some things. He's like, you guys are transporting droids?
I like to rebuild them.
Oh, okay. Well,
To
do you have
patch
like before you activate him, you make sure he actually goes to his data pad and types a few things in and holds it out, which he wants you to hold your data pad out too. He says, "I'll pass you some security clearances you need to actually get before you can actually activate some of these." So you'll need to register them.
Oh, was not aware. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we don't want people accidentally getting taken in for smuggling illegal droids, do we? He goes over and pokes at a couple of them, make sure none of them are actually active, and sort of does a cursory look at the junk. And he's obviously looking for something specific, and he comes back. Do you have any weapons on this ship?
I have my blaster.
No, well, personal
Which I'll,
firearms are okay.
Yeah, he'll lift that up and he'll show that
Yeah.
off.
Okay. So
This is in the other room. Does the lieutenant say anything to me about weapons?
the lieutenant is just going through your data logs where you've been. He does come back and say, "What were you doing in the Alderaan system?"
I don't want to say sightseeing to him, but it was kind of a memorial visit. We
you had-
didn't really want to stop.
So he sees something and types a couple of keys and pulls up a file. And he looks at it and he says, "Did you encounter this ship?" And he pulls up an image of the Sith infiltrator, which specifically has logged its communications code.
That he'll actually kind of like lean over to him. when we dropped out of hyperspace and we did a good thrice over, we did 3 passes just looking at everything. We didn't dock with anyone, but I spied that, and I had Leith, my protocol droid, you will see him on your way out, snap that. And I kept it for posterity's sake.
He looks over at the droid and says, Imperial Code 3347, verify. And Leith looks at him, talks to him, and says, code verified. He says, is this correct? This information that he just gave me, he asked you to log this ship as a point of interest? He says, yes, sir. That is exactly what he asked me to do. He said, okay.
I was going to drop it off with, well, you came and you beat me to the punch, sir.
Okay. He plugs in his data pad into the console and obviously is downloading some information. He says, okay. The 3 security personnel come back, meet in the middle, and the lieutenant looks up at them and they all sort of nod. And he turns to the lieutenant. Well, the 3 of them head toward the airlock and sort of wait there as lieutenant turns to you and he says, well, we didn't find anything specifically contraband, but we may have to impound the ship for a bit for a more thorough going over.
Why is that? Is that the issue with the Marauder?
Well, it's just that and a few other security concerns. There was a possible illegal maneuver made by a ship of this description not too long back. They almost collided with one of the space stations, caused a bit of a ruckus with traffic. We have to verify that your ship isn't that one.
I see.
The lieutenant, you see him as he says this, he sort of scratches his right palm a bit as he's looking at you, and then sort of folds his hands together. So I'm gonna do a perception check real quick for that. Do perception a lot.
You need to grease the wheels.
11.
Okay. You get the idea that he might be asking me for a bribe.
Well, are your lads gonna talk?
About what?
I'm gonna thumb my data pad. Can I do something that can avoid such being an impound? Having my ship impounded. I have an appointment that I really should keep, and I don't want to be late for it.
It's possible I could exercise some personal discretion in the matter. It depends on if it's. If you are a upstanding member of the of the Empire, of course.
It's a Nubian ship. That should go without question.
Of course it is. And Nubians tend to be a bit more high dollar.
Oh, it's a hand me down from my mother.
I'll tell you what, if you were to pay the basic fine for, and we'll say we'll waive off the rest of the impounds and such, you just pay the fine for intruding upon an Imperial secured area in the Alderaan system.
My apologies. Yes. And that is?
I think that's around 400 credits.
Oh, then hand me your data pad. We'll do this right now.
Of course. So,
my apologies. I wanted to see an old friend was on Alderaan when the calamity happened, and as I'm talking about this, I'm just feeding him a big line of bullshit, and bing, bang, boom, way to go, Zoom. He has my money now.
Okay, all right. He sort of it seems that he listens to what you're saying with one ear, as if like he just really doesn't really care.
He doesn't care, and he probably knows that I'm lying. I
And when-
give
yeah.
him an extra 100 credits just
Okay.
for the sake. It's 500.
Okay.
So
He looks up at you for a moment after that, and he sort of nods. He says, "Well, he basically gives you a receipt for the 400 credit fine, saying it has been paid and discharged." He says, "We'll be on our way. Thank you."
I'm gonna go to shake his hand.
Mhm.
If you
Okay.
hold on my hand, if he shakes it,
Okay, he looks at it, and he'll shake your hand very briefly.
when I take his hand, I'll be like, Rand. What's your name?
Lieutenant Marshall,
Marshall. Be safe out there.
of course. Turns around and says, "Men, back to the ship." And the three turn and head back, and he leaves the ship, and you're safe to go on your way. So, as the Imperial cutter pulls away, and Haish 500 credits lighter, we begin to come to the end of our tale for the night. And Haish, with all the things that have happened, what do we see in his mind at the moment
As he's
as a soliloquy?
oh yeah, as we're making our way to docking at the casino that we had left initially from, he'll actually retrieve his things from the hiding place, his personal effects, the holocrons, the data pads, the data crystal, all that. He'll kind of think back to the emotional turmoil he's had over the past couple days, and how Mistress Jade was so damn close for just a few moments, and then she's just so far away. And he reflects on how there was a time, his favorite day of training back when he was quite young, probably about 9 years old, and Mistress Jade, General Kenobi at the time, General Windu was there. And they were talking about footwork drills, and Jedi Master Mace Windu was pairing the boys and girls up for attacks and defense, and Haish was paired off with a much bigger opponent, and Haish had initially, when he was very young, had trouble, like all kids do, play fighting with someone who's anyone who's bigger than you is obviously stronger, but that's usually never the case. And he was made to eat the dirt several dozen times when General Kenobi brought him aside, and he remembers the quote perfectly in his head: "When faced with a larger opponent, bring him to you and give him your best swordsmanship." And since then, Haish has been very good at baiting, very good at feinting, and a lot of his terrific, graceful swordsmanship was adopted from Mistress Jade's fighting style. And as he's doing all of these things, powering the ship down, docking, and gathering up his things, he's very quiet. He's very contemplative on how he slew those two mercs in the temple. It was just fluid and exactly how she would have done it. Just a dervish of green light, and there was a whirlwind of a lightsaber, and two bodies lay dead. He stands and steels himself and focuses in on that image of Mistress Jade, that very fleeting image of that is beautiful and powerful mistress that he misses so very much. He's going to tell Mum that his sister is out there somewhere, and as far as he knows, that she is safe, and he's going to steel himself for the road ahead, hopefully to find her. And he's going to try to reach out again and find her, as he could before. He possibly could do it again. Maybe if he was to reach out in a different way, possibly he could also finger those other tumblers in that force lock on this holocron and just like absentmindedly pass it in his satchel. But his thoughts will fall silent now.
Thank you there. And our focus moves from Haysh as he's manipulating the controls to go in for a landing and falls back into the ship, back to Tindrick. We see what Tindrick thinking at the moment, while it's happened at the moment.
Well, being the true mechanic that he is, he's glad that the Imperials didn't upset his organization system. He was half worried they were going to come and just start chucking shit. He's still trying to digest through the news he heard from his brother about Mistress being alive, and the fact that we have a couple of different places we have to go to, and we have to see if Mom's okay. And with all this Imperial traffic, he of course is worried that something happened to Mom or something happened to the people who were taking care of Mom. And he's kind of just thrown himself into working on this droid as a way to distract his mind. Because unlike Galal and Haysh, he doesn't quite have that force training set yet to just meditate it out. He can't sit still yet. He has to be doing something. So I guess actually in a way, him working and tinkering is his meditation, but it's not the traditional way. So at the moment, he's worried about a plethora of things, but at the same time, he's trying to not be worried about anything. Kind of whole thing of, well, where's your mind at? Well, it's nowhere, but it's everywhere. What are you thinking about? Nothing but everything. So yeah, at the moment, Tindrick is doing what Tindrick does and throwing himself into another project and waiting to see till they actually dock and are able to leave the ship, and hopefully things go smooth with no more drama.
Very good there. We move once again from Tindrick, where he's tinkering with his droids and such, and move the ship to where Galalt sits. What do we see in Galalt's mind at the moment?
What you see is Glalt sits very uncomfortably in the fresh air as he's trying to remove the crystals. Is both a mix of happiness and sadness. Happiness that he was able to help his friends, but sadness that he had so misjudged the monk. Sadness that he had hurt something with abilities that were supposed to be used for good, and confusion at what he's turning into. Why he's turning into this. What caused this? Is meditation not enough? Does he need to seek out something else? What is he missing in his life that's causing him to become so aggressive? And if this is protection, what can he do to fix it? Does he need to not protect his friends? But if he can't protect them, then that's wrong. His master would want him to protect. What is the right thing to do? And the crystals are not helping the situation either, as each come up rather painfully. And as he's combing out his fur, you hear the tink, 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 the crystals just slowly being combed out.
Okay. So as we get those thoughts, we see the camera pull away from the ship as it nestles up into the landing bay there at the casino. We pull back and we see the planet of Ord Mantell with an Imperial task force effectively interdicting the place. 4 Star Destroyers and several of the support ships in the area. Many TIE fighters whizzing back and forth, inspecting ships and such. We pull away back through hyperspace, back to Alderaan, back to outside the temple where we see an Imperial shuttle has just landed. And a figure emerge, a couple of black-clad stormtroopers flanking him. These stormtroopers take up a guard position, guarding the ship as he walks forward. And at the entrance, we see 3 figures come limping out. One holding his shoulder that's been blasted, one supporting the large feline figure. As the one figure approaches, the feline figure seems to collapse to its hands and its knees. The 2 humans move forward a bit and say, "We can explain." As they begin to say this, that they're bathed by a red light that whips past and takes their heads. The figure walks forward and stands over the feline figure, lying prostrate. And the red light goes out. It says, "What did you learn?" The figure looks up and says, "My master, I have their scent now. I can find them if you get me with them, close to them again." He says, "Did they see you as a threat?" "I don't believe so. I did not directly engage them. I ran. Although that one shot me. I'll take great pleasure in taking him apart piece by piece." He smiles, and then the fellow looks down and says, "Well, good, well played, my pet. Well played. Were there others?" He says, "I for a moment sensed one more, but that one was cagey. I may know its scent if I get near, but I did not get a good look. The other 3 were more rash. They have the same brashness as the last batch of half-trained Jedi did. You'll go that as easily." Phil looks up and says, "Well, let's get that knee patched up." He stands up and he limps towards the shuttle. And he says, "Yes, sir, my master. Yes, sir, my master. We will have them. We'll bring them down." And the 2 go up the ramp into the shuttle, and the 2 black-clad stormtrooper-like figures follow them up. The ramp rises and it takes off as credits roll. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Putting a Rock in a Hard Place. Come back, talk to us again in 2 weeks and see what happens next.
Woo!
So,
Good night, everybody.
good night.
Good night.